Issues, right? We can hear you.
Saima, you're on mute.
You were calling me.
There you go.
Let's see the audio.
All right, you're mute again. Saima, you're on mute again.
And she's figuring.
We can't hear you.
I think it came back and then went away again. There you go.
You find,
Oh. It came back on and then went off again.
You did switch it on twice and then it went back to mute again. So there's some button that you're...
That's some wire loose.
Your mic isn't connected.
It's funny, it was working fine when we were doing the test.
Yeah, I was working fine with the test, but... I hope it doesn't have to do this.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's now we can.
Okay. So let's go ahead and start again. Okay. So,
You'll have to say everything again.
well, that's okay. Give me just a moment. Let me just repeat some of that. Okay. So, okay. Hey guys, so sorry about that. I'm not sure. I had some technical issues, and as you can see, I was sweating right there. But so we're just going to start again.
Oh, it's mute again. I think the wire. There's something wrong with the wire.
It's gone again.
Yeah, it's
Yep,
fine
it's
now.
fine.
So I think the wire is loose. So try not touching the mic.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, when you hit the mic, then that's when it went off.
okay. It seems like it's
It's fine now.
It's fine. Yeah. No, it's
No, it's
fine.
fine.
It's fine. We can hear you.
okay. Okay. So we're just going to stick to the microphone with, so you can hear me, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and try again. All right, so we're going to give it another try. You're listening to Heart with Saima, the podcast show for people searching for that courageous person within us who wants to be inspired by listening to stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I'm Saima Dillon, your host. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be here. Let's dive right in. I was traveling for the past few weeks, and that's why a show wasn't hosted. And I did have intentions of hosting the show overseas, and I didn't cancel them until last minute because, of technical issues and internet issues and time issues. But I'm glad to be back. And the good thing was that when I was traveling and I was talking to different people and I was meeting different friends and family who I've connected with on social media, and they all were telling me that they listen to the show and they enjoy the show and they find it meaningful and it touches lives. And I felt that that right there was extremely heartwarming. And I'm so grateful to everyone for that. So thank you so much for watching the show. I feel that, maybe I'm doing something right. My guests today are Nina and Babar Chaudry. They are owners of Brain Balance of Allen and Dallas. Brain Balance is a very unique research-based program focused on working with children and young adults who are struggling with neurobehavioral and cognitive challenges. And I think with this being Mental Health Month, I feel that this is a very appropriate time to bring them on and to discuss mental health issues and neurological issues and how they are connected to different how it's connected to mental health, and how what they are doing, their purpose for doing it, and how they can help children especially. So I'm going to bring them on here. And hey, Babar and Nina, thank you guys for being here. And I do apologize for the technical glitches, but hopefully everything is going to go smooth from here onwards. Welcome to Heart with Saima.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you, Simon.
So how about we start on a bit of a personal note and talk to you guys about your personal journey, and especially something which is very dear to you, Nina. You are an artist, a very creative person who's always involved in creativity, and so share with us, how long have you been an artist, and what is it? But are you doing it full time? Do you sell your artwork? So I know I've been to your house, and there's a lot of artwork, which I think most of it is done by you. So tell me more about you.
How long have I been an artist? I guess ever since I was born, maybe, I don't know. I can't really give a number, but I do remember that I used to draw and give it to my friends when I was in school. And then I went to NCA and National College of Arts, and I did my textile
in Lahore, Pakistan.
In Lahore, Pakistan, yeah. And then after that, when I had kids, I was not really doing anything professionally, but I was just doing things around the house all the time. And then I used to give a bit of art classes as a, just doing it for fun for my kids and their, in the community and all that. So then I became a board member in Canada in the gallery, in one of the art galleries. I became one of the board members. And then when we moved here, then I started, because my kids were older and I had a bit more time on my hands. So I started doing art classes. I do give art classes to children. And then I started becoming more actively doing my painting and art. I do silk paintings as well. And I do all kind of painting actually, but because I did textile designing, so I'm exploring that more now. And so I'm not professionally full-time active in arts, but I do it freelance or whenever I get an order or whenever I get a time or something like that. So,
but it's your passion.
It is my passion. I love doing it, and I love teaching children as well.
Wonderful.
Nina doesn't give herself enough credit. She does group classes as well with adults, so she's done quite a few of those. And I think since we have come to Dallas, I think Dallas has been good to us. I think she has set up her own studio at home, and she spends way more time on her passion than, now the kids are older than she used to, when we were in Canada, when the kids were younger.
Yeah, I can stay up all night doing painting.
I've been to your house, and so I see your house is a reflection of you, and there's a lot of artwork. So your passion is definitely very prominent in your home. So having said that, what about you, Babar? What actually made both of you get involved in Brain Balance? And how about I let you give an introduction about Brain Balance before we dive into it?
Yeah, I guess let me tell you, you briefly covered in terms of what Brain Balance does. Brain Balance is a franchise model which we bought probably about 3 years ago now, and focuses on working with kids and young adults, as well as we are going to be launching an adult program who are having social, behavioral, academic challenges. A lot of our students are really, really smart, have a lot of potential, but they just have some struggles and some obstacles they need to come over. So our program is very much designed to working with those students, either children or young adults, and soon to be, I guess, adult program as well, who are having certain challenges, and helping them develop develop skills to basically come over those challenges. And that's what the program is based on. It's a combination of various existing well-researched techniques which we have adopted. It's a customized program which was developed at a program committee level at the US corporate franchise office. And then each one of our locations administer and run that program using highly skilled staff who are board certified. So one of our key focus has been to really focus on training and maintaining a strong team. So we manage the centers through the team.
What made you get involved in this franchise?
It's I think I'll say we stumbled on it. Me and Nina have always had passion in terms of working with kids, having us our own business, which was community based, having a business which was kid focused, education related. So we were down, 3 years ago, we were down the path of kind of researching those businesses in Dallas. We looked at Montessori's, we looked at daycares, we looked at Methanasium, we looked at Cumons, and we came across Brain Balance as these two locations were not, were struggling, and their partnership, the owners they had were having some challenges, so they decided to sell it. So we stumbled on it through a friend of ours, and the more we learned about the program, the more we got involved in it. We decided to invest in it. We live in Allen. We own the Allen Center. We're gonna have a center in Dallas very soon, so we're working on that. So I would not say that we planned on being Brain Balance owners. We had the right intent of having a community-based business, and that's how really we came across this Brain Balance business.
When we went into Brain Balance, we did not know what it was at all.
Yeah.
So we have 3 kids, and we had seen what challenges kids do go through. And when we learned about Brain Balance, we didn't really know the extent of what it is about, but it was something to do with the kids and, their everyday challenges. And that's what made us learn more about it. So we had another option that we were looking into, but this one was seemed to connect more with Brain Balance, because we felt that it could help children more in a more positive way and can make a difference to their lives. So that's why we went and took this business instead of, opting out of the other one.
So you've been involved in this for like 3 years.
Yes.
So what's the most valuable lesson that these 3 years have taught you?
A number of lessons. I think I'll say as a business owner, the lesson is that, nothing goes in a straight line, nothing goes as planned. So be ready to adjust and adapt as your business owner.
That's life, right?
Right, that's life. What you plan on paper is exactly not how the life goes. So that's one. I think from a business perspective, and from, what we, in terms of being involved in something like this, I'll say our biggest learning has been that how much passion it requires to run this business. This is just, this is not a business. You really form relationship with the students you have and the families you connect with. They really become your own families, because you get to know them at an emotional level, because you're working with probably one of their most valuable assets, right? Like one of the most valuable part of their life. So, and a lot of these kids and a lot of these families are struggling through the challenges their student might be having. So you really get to learn a lot about the families, and a lot of those families become your friends. Like today, I was having lunch with one of the dads, whose daughter is going through our program. He has he's a CPA, and we were having lunch, and he was talking about his daughter and how much she's benefited from the program. He's on the Allen School District Board as well. So a lot of the moms, a lot of the dads are on my Facebook page as well. So they do become friends, and you really build a bond with them. And I think so the biggest, I'll say, second biggest learning from that is really, this is not a business. You cannot run this as a business. You have to run it as a passion, and really care for what you're doing and what the difference you're making and how you're impacting the various families and the lives you're touching. So
What about you, Nina? How has this being a part of this program something that you least expected? Because you you got involved in this completely as a business owner, and then I mean, you're working with children. You're working with their mental health issues. You're working with their their fluctuations, emotional, mental, and it all ends up being connected to the mental health, their mental health. How has what were you weren't expecting a whole lot, but now that you're involved in it and you've been in it for 3 years, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned?
The biggest lesson that I feel is that you don't know what the other person is going through. You don't know. You can never be in their shoes. You can never understand what are the challenges that they're facing. Their circumstances, people, how they are, how they seem to you is not how they are. How they might be showing you in, like, on the surface they might seem like they're happy, they're doing they have everything, but you don't know what challenges they're facing. So never judge anybody, and be compassionate towards people. Try and understand if there is something. It's not that the parents didn't do anything. They missed out on doing something for their children or their families, or it's not that if the child is misbehaving, that there's something, that he is ill-mannered or anything like that. There can be number of reasons why, what has led the child to be, to behave a certain way. Or the biggest lesson I would say is, don't judge people. Don't judge people, and never give up. Never
And
give up.
one thing, I'm sorry I interrupted you, Nina, but I think one thing that I'll tell you that my life has started to change with my podcast.
Yeah.
And especially these 2 weeks that I was overseas and I had this time by myself, it gave me an opportunity to, just be in that space where you're self-reflecting, and the people that I'm meeting over there, and everyone is coming to me and talking to me about the podcast and its impact and what it's doing for them. I was just so overwhelmed, and it made me realize that that my podcast started changing my life.
Yeah.
And it also made me realize that there's a karmic balance in this world, a karmic balance where when you start giving something out, it starts coming back to you trifold.
Yeah.
And it's such an amazing feeling, the feeling of gratification and the feeling that, something you're contributing positively and putting out into the universe, which has a ripple effect, and how it's changing yourself, helping me.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's something to be really grateful for. And I think, which is something you guys are doing as well. You're putting something out there and you're changing lives. And, like Babar said, that it requires a lot of passion to be able to get to know these children, get to know their families, understand the trauma which gets involved when you see your children suffer.
Yep.
And the feeling of helplessness when you are just there trying your best, and perhaps your best is not good enough, or nobody comes with a PhD, right, in raising kids, and it's trial and error, and you hope that one day you start making the right choices and doing the right things, and you start improving the lives of your own children. So you're out there in the community changing lives and impacting other children. What kind of children do you come across the most? What are they going through? Are there certain patterns that you see between all the children that you're helping?
Let me jump in. I think I'll say we have seen two things. One is pre-COVID and post-COVID. Let's talk about that, because I think what the current environment, what we're going through, definitely has impacted, a lot of us, but also students and younger generation. So I think a lot of our kids have ADHD or focused attention issues. So we definitely see struggles on that side. We do see kids who have anxiety and social issues as well. But I'll say that one of the biggest pieces is probably ADHD and focused attention issues. These kids have a lot of talent, a lot of potential, are really, really smart, but are just they're some of these challenges, and I use the word challenge, more, is that these struggles they can come over. And so that's really what we're focused on. Post-COVID, I'll say we have seen a lot more kids come through because of anxiety or depression or just social issues, because the lockdown and the virtual learning is not for everybody. And I think it's affected the kids in terms of not getting that social exposure and not getting exposed to the outdoors as much as they should be. A lot of our learnings, a lot of our academic learning, like the basis of academic learning is you're learning from your environment. So when you're not getting exposed to social settings, when you're not getting exposed to outside, fresh air and outdoor activity, that affects your ability to socially and mentally and academically develop. So that's what we have seen post-COVID, that a lot more kids have come through who are struggling with social issues or more anxiety-related challenges. So
the number of children who are coming to your institute have increased drastically during COVID. Is that what you're saying?
We have definitely seen a lot more interest come through. Yes, our number of our inquiries have gone up. More parents are interested. It could be because of multiple reasons. Naturally, people are more aware of the challenges. Both parents being home, both parents seeing the challenges have we are seeing more dads come, fathers come in with their kids, where we always used to see the mothers coming in who are spending the most amount of time, maybe, focused on the kids. But now that the fathers are home and they're spending the time there at home taking care of the children because there's virtual learning or they're working from home, we have seen an increase in fathers or both parents being involved and coming and coming and looking and inquiring about the program. So both, I think, so we have seen an increase. We have seen the dynamics of who's involved in those, seeking that help has changed. And then naturally, we have seen more older students come through as well. So we have seen more teens, and initially we used to have most of our kids used to be 12 and under. We have seen a larger group of teens, come through, which are 12 to 18. We have like four students with us who are 18 to 24. So we have seen an increase in terms of the age level where there's a more recognition either by their parents or students themselves that they need help. So I think that's a dynamic which has shifted in post-COVID environment.
So how this is all related to mental health, right?
Yeah, I guess we have never looked at, it's more developmental challenges is how we look at it. There's always an underlying cause, and the way Brain Balance looked at these things is really there's some level of integration which is not taking place, where the foundation, foundational challenges, the foundation is weak in some area, right? So we work on strengthening those foundational areas. So yes, at the end, it results in mental health issues, which is much more visible and people can see and relate to. But there's always an underlying challenge. So what we focus on is more identifying those underlying gaps in developmental areas, which result in those mental health types of challenges, right? So
Basically, the assessment that we do at the center is to assess, okay, where are the challenges that the child who's coming to us, what kind of challenges do they have? Sometimes it can be any kind of challenges. Some children are very good socially, but they have academic challenges. Some children are very good in academics, but they have social challenges. And some children can have a bit more challenges, like both the challenges. So we do the assessment. It's like 2.5 hours long assessment in which we look at every aspect of their how they process information, how they take it in, their auditory, their vision, and everything is done. And then a program is designed specifically for the child. So every child has a specific program designed for them which is done based on the assessment that we do for them.
So the different age groups then has a different program that you cater to?
Yes. I mean, we looked at about 1,000 different metrics or data points to basically score them during the assessment process. So there's about 28 different areas we assess. And based on that result for the assessment, we'll find out exactly where the gaps are, challenges are compared to the age level or compared to their functional level. And when this program is designed, it's designed according to the results and the gaps we find in the assessment. So, for example, one of the areas we look at is visual perception and visual processing. So, if in those areas where a student's eyes may be jumping around and they're unable to focus on, for example, some children who may have dyslexia, what we find is on the visual perception side, the eyes will focus on it. The eyes we'll do a VOR test, or we will do a saccades test where their eyes will literally jump around when processing information on a screen or on a book. So we will look at and identify those gaps, and then we'll come up with a program to basically address that particular gap. So that is, in that way, it's customized to the gap which is found and how much that gap is and how much of a program they need to basically address that particular piece of the finding of the assessment.
So how is this in your 3 years, how do you feel you're helping these children who are going through these different issues and then they get involved in your program? How is the program beneficial to and is there like certain specifics where it specifically helps us children who might be experiencing what should the parents be looking out for? What are the key things, trigger points that, okay, I'm seeing this in my child, and maybe these are the things that we can bring them to your institute and help them?
Some of the signs, I guess, everybody is different. Every child is different. Every adult is different. So it's very, I can give you some examples. So what we'll see is early signs of what may result in, foundational challenges or development challenges. Really, like sometimes children will have focus attention issues at an early age. They would not be able to sit still. They would not be able to focus through. They may not be able to sit still while having even dinner on a table, or sit through, and do their homework or any kind of work. Some kids will start to have behavioral issues where they will act out their behavior in a physical form to other siblings or other students. So that will be a sign. Sometimes we will see speech delays, where at an early age there might be signs of speech delay, and then that will eventually result that there's some kind of some gap left somewhere where the development has hit some kind of obstacle. So the question is, where is that obstacle and how do we go about addressing it? In terms of answering your question, how we go about doing it, one of the key things we are focused on, this is when you talk about mental health, it's not a perfect, it's not like you press this button, this is the results you're going to get, right? You're talking about human body and human mind you're dealing with. So what we are focused on is really training of our staff and hiring, and basically focused on having a quality team who's really focused on the families and students and really trying to understand what the challenges are, and a dynamic to adapt the program as they come through and as they're going through the program, to adjust it as the need dictates. So I think the most important thing we have done in the last 3 years is really focused on training and making families and students our number one priority, and staff training, basically those three components as our number one priority. And that's really what has resulted in improved success rate of the program. And I think that's reflected in when you talk about, more interest, more students, more, referrals coming through. That's really what's resulted in the strength of our center in Allen is, we are really focused on, because this is not a business, but this is where passion comes in, right? Yes, it's a business. Yes, you're trying to make a living, but you have to care for what you're doing and you have to be passionate about it. So I think what we have done is really made that a priority from day one. And that's really resulted in, us improving the results of our center, but then that's also resulted in eventually a successful business as well. Naturally, you have to create a difference out there. You have to create value, and that's when you will see you will see the return of what you're creating. You have to be passionate about it and really make a true difference, with your product or with your services.
What do you can you share a couple of success stories?
Yes. So let me think about it. So which one should I share? So we have one student who is probably at the end of our program. He is 8. They drive all the way from basically south of Rockwell. So they're driving an hour to come to our center 3 times a week. And for their 1-hour session, he had dyslexia, he had dysgraphia, he was resulting in behavior challenges. And he was not able to sit still. He was not able to focus through. So once he started the program, what we have seen is basically his ability to focus through and sit through and complete his homework has improved. His ability to communicate socially with his siblings have improved. His ability to the feedback from a school and from his teachers, because we do open a communication channel with the school as well as part of the program. So the feedback and we are getting and the parents are getting from the school is improved in terms of he's able to socially interact and focus through in different things while they're doing schoolwork or while they're doing while they're in the playground area as well. So that's like one simple example. I'm being a bit generic just because I don't want to go into anything confidential. We had another teen who came through our program who was in Allen ISD. He's a teen, he's in grade 12. He struggled throughout his life with social and behavioral anxiety issues, and he was seeing a psychiatrist, and he was on heavy medication. His mom was a doctor, and he was basically struggling socially, and the school has basically given up on him, and his psychiatrist had told him to basically put him into a group home, and his school was basically not giving him the attention which needed. So we did a full assessment. We came up with a program for them, and then we started to put him through the program. So his social interaction level improved, his confidence level improved as we went through the program. But outside of that, we also got help for parents to basically go deal with the school district as well, because we do have partnership with other consultants who work with school district where the students or the parents are not getting the right amount of attention or the right amount of service from the school district, because schools are responsible for providing a certain level of service to these students. So we found somebody who can lobby for these parents with the school district as well. So it went beyond just providing the service we were providing. We tried to build a network and form a support, get the parents the support which is outside of our program as well. And then that person who we connected them to was able to successfully increase the amount of service the school district was providing this student, and the performance and the on the academic side and social side slowly improved over time, both from what the student was going through our program and then also from a support services from the school as well, in terms of 504 or those programs. So
Nina and Babar, why do you feel that ADHD is something that focus issues are something that we are born with, right? I know, and me coming from Pakistan, I mean, I always had focus issues, and of course, it was never. I think I probably have ADHD. It was never diagnosed because, of course, these
Yeah.
things didn't used to get diagnosed over there. But now it seems like, okay, you know what, it makes sense. That's what, it must have been, because initially, the journey was very difficult. And I was like, okay, my older brother, he just has to look at something once, and he just, he can memorize the whole damn book. And here I'm just sitting here spending 3 times as much, and like just so much chaos, and trying to just get the simplest of things done. But now there's more, right? There are more tools available, especially in this country where we live, where a lot of things can get diagnosed. Who I mean, are you working specifically with children who have focus issues? Is that what primarily the program is for?
Actually, no. Actually, it's not just the focus issues. What happens is that parents, the focus issue gets the attention of the parents, and then the parents bring them. Sometimes the focus issues become so much that the parents say that we have to do something about it, right? And then they bring the children to us for assessment. But it's not just the focus issue that we're working with. That's what I said, that sometimes it can be social issues as well. The child is doing he's really focused in school, but he is unable to connect with friends. He's unable to make friends, or he's unable to relate to, or a child would say inappropriate things at time, that unfiltered speech, as you would say, just saying anything to anybody, or which can be initially. Sometimes parents can say, okay, it's okay, he'll go over he'll get over it, but it doesn't usually happen. And when it gets to that point that the parent sees it as a problem, then they bring them to us. There can be number of issues. Sometimes children, a parent is saying something to the child, and the child will not listen, or he would listen, or he would not do it. And then it gets to a point that the parent is like frustrated about it, that is there something wrong with his hearing, and then there can be other issues as well. But then sometimes when they all combine and they become too much, then they bring them to us. We have had children who were athletes really well, right?
Yeah.
Doing really well, but then the parents brought them because they wanted them to do well in their studies. So it can be anything that you feel is a challenge for your child. It can be social, it can be academic, it can be focus, it can be speech, it can be anything. You need to find out what the answer is. Like when we see children, when we see their challenges, in every child I can see something of my own child, that my child has had a challenge. Our own son went through this program as well, brain balance program, and we saw a great improvement in his confidence level, and the way I remember he used to tear up on every small. He used to be very emotional, but we made him go through the program. And we saw an increase in his confidence level, and the way he could then take things. It can be anything that's making you think twice about what your child needs to be doing, or you're worried about. You should come and get an assessment done and see that what are the challenges and where are the functional gaps that need to be filled up.
So just on a completely different note, I know you guys are in Allen, and we just experienced quite a tragedy happen here with a family of 5, and it was a family of 6, and they all committed suicide.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not
That's so
one,
sad.
but a family of 6 doing that. Um, do you have any, anything to say about what kind of help can be, given to people? What should people be looking out for? I mean, that right there is just such a tremendous tragedy.
It is.
I mean, it is. I think there's we can talk about it. I'm sure everybody will have an opinion about why it happened and what resulted in these things. At the end of the day, I think there's few things. A lot of us need to learn better, learn to connect with our children more and understand them in terms of what they're going through. Understand ourselves more in terms of what we are going through. I think some of the things which made it's a little bit unrelated to brain balance is really thinking and reflecting on us being not being born here versus our kids who are born here and raised here, and the cultural dynamics which take place, and sometimes those cultural dynamics impact in terms of how much understanding you build of your children and how you can relate to them. So I think that's really what hearing that and reflecting on it. I think to me it was more reflecting on myself to say, okay, do I understand my children better? Am I providing them the support they need to be provided? Because a lot of us can be blind to that sometimes. So I think just that's really the reflection I had, hearing that it was a really tragic incident which happened, but definitely there was what we know at least about the sons was they were seeking help from a counseling perspective, and I think they were on medication as well for anxiety and depression. So so they were definitely signs were there that they were struggling. The question is what was it's hard to say could anything have been done to get ahead of it. I think a lot of people who were close to them will reflect on it and will wonder. I'm not really sure we can sit here and really answer that question, right? So
what I take from the biggest thing I see is that don't be judgmental towards people. You don't know what they're going through, and you cannot understand what they're going through. That's the biggest thing.
And one thing that I've experienced, and I myself have been a culprit of probably of judging and doing the same thing, is the fact that we gravitate towards children who are well mannered and well behaved and sweet and kind, but the ones who might have disruptive behavior, who might be showing anger, nobody stops to think that, hey, maybe I need to be more kind towards these children.
Yeah.
Because they need that love more. And there is some kind of disbalance between, in their behavior.
Yeah.
The fact that they are behaving a certain way because there might be some imbalance.
Exactly.
And what is that imbalance? And that imbalance could very well just be very basic things like love, kindness, communication. Maybe they feel unheard.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a big word right there, right? Everyone wants validation and everyone wants to be heard.
Yeah.
But problems happen when you feel that there's no one there actually listening to you, and your parents and your siblings and the people around you don't really want to listen to what the core of the problem is, because of which you are you're displaying certain behavior characteristics.
Yeah.
I think reflecting on why anybody feels positive and negative, and just reflecting on that, and not really having an emotional reaction to it, probably the biggest thing we can all do. At least I can say for sure. It's not only you, Saima, it's also I can reflect on myself. Say there's learnings I'll have always to say, okay, this is how I could have handled the situation better, or this is how I could have understood the other person better, right? So
by being in this business, it has really made us made us look at, certain situations in different ways. And it has made us think about, okay, how we are reacting. Because coming from Pakistan, we both came from Pakistan as well. There's a certain way that you look at everything that's like around you. The child should be
Especially as
well mannered.
immigrants.
The child should be, like this. You should be like this. So, but it's not as simple as, just, okay, this is how it has to be done. You have to, we have to see, we have to understand that there's so many things outside that we don't know what's happening around the world, where what our kids are getting exposed to. We were born in a different time zone, and they are in a different time. So the challenges that they are facing is something that's hard for us to understand. But going through Brain Balance as well, we as a couple have really tried to open up our thinking process as well, open up to not try to understand, okay, there's some challenge, then there must be some other reason, or give the benefit of the doubt to the other person. Don't judge them all the time. And that is something that I think everybody has to change. It's not just the parents, it's like our parents have to change as well, like our friends, everybody, we have to change, our children have to. So
And change begins with us, because we cannot change anyone else, right?
Yes, exactly.
I can only work on and focus and make. So I've started doing this morning show on Fun Asia Radio in the mornings, and we were talking about children and the expectations that parents have from their kids. And I have someone on the radio actually called, and the lady said, but you know what, I have 4 successful children. And and then after the caller hung up, we were actually sitting there and we started discussing the definition of success.
Exactly.
I mean, what does success mean? Does your children having gone through good colleges and good universities and having good degrees, is that how you define success? Because it doesn't necessarily mean that your children are happy. They might have become or attained certain degrees or be in a profession to satisfy you, especially the high expectation of immigrant parents. And a lot of us, I know until one point, I myself was a helicopter mom, and all these expectations that I had from my children. But what about that space that we should give our children for growth, for mental and emotional growth, where you let your kids turn into people that, even their failure should be their own failure, and it's okay. You have to fail in life. You can't always just be acing everything in life.
And I think that's what the kids have to learn as well. They like the same way we went through certain challenges. They have to go through certain challenges. The only thing that you can guide, I feel that I try and guide my children, is that it's okay. It's okay to feel that way. It's okay to fail sometimes. It's okay. There's always a reason why. Okay, maybe you didn't do well in this thing. Maybe this was not meant for you. Maybe you're supposed to be doing something else. Look into the other options that are available there. There's endless possibilities. There's endless reasons why something happened. You might think something right now that you don't have, or a failure. You might think that, right now it might be a big deal, but later down in life you might think, oh wow, that was a good thing that happened to me. So
we instill in our children the feeling of that feeling of perfection, where what grades are they getting? Okay, hey, what did you do? You got a B or a C, or you failed this class. Instead of sitting there trying to figure out what was the reason, that what made you fail or get a C, or what, is there anything we can help you with to improve that grade? Instead, it's just that heavy feeling of failure, that, okay, you know what, you did not get an A plus, so you're not going to get into this college. I mean, all this is so much conditioning that we without even realizing that we are filling up our child's emotional, mental we're filling them up with all these expectations, right? That, okay, it's not perfect, it means something is wrong with you.
See, that's what I'm saying. We have to change as well. So that's what I wouldn't say that we didn't do this. We did the same thing with our kids, right?
Yeah.
But that's what brain balance made a lot of difference to us as well. Thinking in terms of, okay, looking at things differently, and trying to change the way we have been conditioned as well. It's just a conscious change that everybody has to make, and we have to make it too. And we will we make mistakes as well in how we're treating our children, or how we're treating each other. We do. That's natural. That's human behavior, but human nature. But we have to be conscious about it and see, okay, we did it this time, we should not do it next time. We should be more, aware of how this can affect the other person, or what kind of a ripple effect this will have. So we just need to be more conscious of that, and like you said, we have to change. We have to make the change within us. That's the biggest thing we can do to make the world a better place, is to change ourselves. And one by one.
Also, that realization that you're not perfect.
Yes. You have to accept yourself, right? How they say, you have to accept yourself. The first thing is accepting yourself. Then you start accepting everybody else as well.
Yeah.
If you will be angry with yourself, or frustrated with yourself all the time, how are you going to be reacting to other people around you?
Absolutely. I always feel that look after yourself, because you can. I feel for myself that I can only give to people if my own cup is full.
Yeah.
And you feed everything around you from the overflow. But if your own cup is half full, you are only able to give from a place of unfulfillment within yourself, and there's always something lacking in that space. So I think it's imperative for people to look after themselves and take care of themselves and fill their own cup first, so that you can nourish and nurture everything around you. So we are at the end of our show, and is there any final words, any final thing that you would like to share with the audience?
I just wanted to say that success, I feel, is contentment. Contentment, I would say, worldly and spiritual contentment that you would have is success to me. If you would have that, then I think you have everything, because you cannot have one thing without the other. So there's if you're spiritually content, you're connected to the supreme alamya, and if you're worldly content, then you have everything that you need. So I think that's what you should work towards, and just not be judgmental towards people, and
be kind
towards yourself and everybody around you.
Absolutely. Be kind to yourself first, and only then you can be kind to others. Babar, any final words from you?
Make sure you have a good partner who can balance you out.
Absolutely.
That's what I say. You know what? Yes, Nina is a great partner. I'm a bit more, left brain, because I'm a business owner. I like success. I think Nina completes me in that way and keeps me grounded.
And I think that's okay, right? That's what partners are supposed to do.
And he pushes me to do better, which is also so. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here, and it is my honor and privilege to have you as my guest. And hopefully we spread the word. We do good for you, we do good for others, and we touch lives wherever we go. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having us. Yeah.
You're most welcome. And I'm going to remove you from the stream. And we did begin today with some technical glitches, but hey, that's life. Once again, thank you for carving out the time to hear what was shared on today's podcast. If this inspired you to take the next step in your journey, then I would like to invite you to join my email list by emailing vip@saimadillon.com. And of course, if you think that this podcast can help someone else, then help me change lives. Just take 30 seconds to just share the podcast in a text or post it on social media. And I will be so grateful to you. Until next time, this is Saima Dillon signing off, and